Thank you for joining me today on Truthers Weekly MaM News. If you enjoy what you see, please show your support and love, hit the like button, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. This week, December 5th, 2019, top topics. Newly released Candy Avery versus Stephen Avery, 2004 Calumet County Sheriff's Report. Previous Manitowoc County Assistant DA causes Twitter flutter amongst truthers. A second HALBACH victim's skeleton CREMAINS found in 2005. Both victims from Calumet and 25 years old. Do test results imply animal blood was found in the RAV4? Let's go ahead and get started. So right off the bat, we've got a tweet from Zellner. And she says, if you think Stephen Avery has given up on being freed, think again. He is surrounded by people who love and support him. We work on this case every day, and we will prevail. You can count on it. And this is some very meaningful artwork by Eye of the Tiger 007, and I thought it was very appropriate. Wanted to share that with you. Also, in Twitter, we've got a tweet from Michael Griesbach, former Manitowoc County Assistant DA, who tweeted this past week, which triggered most of the truthers into a tweet frenzy of replies. If there was the slightest of evidence that SA was wrongfully convicted again, or even that police planted evidence to ensure his conviction, I'd do whatever I could to search for and reveal the truth. And if it became clear he was, I'd be honored to sit on the similar panel again. Well, you know what? A lot of people had a lot of thoughts on this. And this one's from Janan. I hope I say that right, Jamie. Where have you been the last 15 years? Under a rock? Maybe you need new glasses. Haven't you read any of Zellner law reports? The simple fact you have two people for the same crime and two different murder locations. No blood in either place? Maybe start there. Paul Capaldi replied, "Hi, Mike. I applaud you. Well said. It's taken a wee while, but maybe you couldn't see the wood for the trees." Even Robert Herman back in April 16th agreed that the evidence was questionable. That was long before KZ experts perjured it all. When do coincidences become a pattern? And Georgina says, "Not so fast, Paul. I don't like his terms. If there was the slightest question. With everything Zellner already pointed out, but Michael Griesbach is not a fan of hers, or is he just, what are you waiting for, Mr. Griesbach?" And I put, then get your suits pressed, because the evidence of his innocence is substantial and mounting. However, I feel you have lost your credibility and not welcome this time. The civilians have investigated this case in place of all those responsible for the failing justice complete. That's not good enough. Well, Rhonda came up and she retweeted and replied to me. She says, I'm getting ready to sit down with Michael Griesbach when this happens. I want to be part of the panel when he realizes what is true and forms the discussion panel. I don't have a nice suit. I'll have to save up the money to buy one. Now, Julie Nash tweeted this as well. This picture looks a lot like Cuss Road. It's what cops do when they find a body. Now, this happens to be the Kaylee Anthony timeline of 2008. You see a tarp, you see a crime lab mobile unit, and a lot of activity there where they're gridding off, and it looks very remarkably much like Cuss Road. Now, AC Rookie, hats off to you, and I appreciate all the work you've been doing. But he brings up a valid point. He says, now that kids can safely sell lemonade on the streets of Wisconsin, Governor Evers, it's time to turn your attention to Brendan and bring Brendan home. So, Governor Evers, I appreciate that you're thinking of the kids and them selling lemonade, but hey, let's get on with it. Let's do some mature thinking here on how else you could help some of the innocent children, such as Brendan. We the people have spoken, Governor Evers, and I believe we would like you to focus on a lot more serious topics than Kool-Aid. This week's top story is about Candy and Earl Avery accusing Stephen of sexual assault of their daughter in 2004. Kaboom Blam Zoom tweeted, 2004 investigation report has arrived. Candy started and stopped the investigation. Conveniently, her proof of anything went missing. Candy and Earl had motive, just saying. On Thursday, 08-1204, the Calumet County Sheriff's Department was contacted by the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department, reference a sexual assault of a child by a Stephen A. Avery. I, Investigator Gary Steyer of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, was then contacted by Captain Paul Roosh of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, asked to investigate the matter for Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department. The alleged sexual assault or contact was between Stephen Avery and Blank at a cabin located on High Falls Lane, a dead-end road 30 miles west of Crivitz, Wisconsin. Allegedly, photos were taken by a cousin, Blank Dassey, at the cabin of Stephen and Blank. Candy indicated she had copies of the photographs in the diary. Upon recontacting Candy Avery, the photographs and the diary disappeared. No further evidence was located regarding the contact, which had occurred in January 2004 or February 2004. Stephen Avery and, as well as Blank, denied any sexual contact conducted between Stephen Avery and Blank. You know, you've been hearing a lot about YouTube and COPA with the FTC. And that basically is that we have to choose whether our channel is made for a child or not made for a child. Now that seems pretty simple. However, if you choose made for a child, your channel's dead in the water. So you make it not made for a child. And here's the complication. If your favorite channel is not commercially viable, then YouTube may delete it. And here's why.
What this really is about, it's not about the people who are unboxing or who don't make money. It's about the next step in the demonetization strategy that says, first we demonetize information that we don't like, and the next thing we'll do is say, you're not commercially viable, so it doesn't sound like they're politically biased, and they remove you for that reason, when in fact, they're actually removing you because corporate overlords are saying to YouTube, we want them gone.
That sounds kind of sketchy to me.
It's very sketchy.
YouTube gets to be the sole decision maker, or in the words of George W. Bush, the decider, on whether or not someone's channel can stay up.
Sure. But which they've always been.
How do they define, though, commercially viable?
Well, that's what's interesting about this. The terms of service, and by the way, YouTube had sent out an email to content creators previous to this that kind of laid out some of the new terms of service. This was interestingly omitted from that email. It was not included in there. And so now that it's been spotted, it's getting a lot of attention, and YouTube's like, it's not a big deal. It's a very big deal. And the reason
it is a very big deal. And Sarah asked, how can we help stop them deleting yours? My answer, we can't, because I'm demonetized 75% of the time. And so since I am not a money-making creator, I am not commercially viable. So we'll have to move. New location? I said I'd share it next week. I'm still looking around, but hopefully you'll follow me like Andrew. On to a little bit more YouTube news. YouTube added child attractive stickers to live chat, while FTC issues COPA fines for child targeting images to the creators up to $42,000 per video.
So we're launching 8 packs, 5 animated packs, and 3 static packs. 5 animated packs are, first is Perfect. So this is a really funny pair that is very energetic and he loves surfing.
He's just a cool surfer dude.
Yay. Second is Popo. And Popo left his home and waters, just embrace another type of stream, live streams. Popo is a special pack for gaming. Look at those designs here. Bushiba. So Bushiba is Shiba Inu from Japan, and
what? I tweeted YouTube, so if after this I still have a channel, we'll see. I put problem you have created. Now when I do my lives, I will need to find a way to remove your child enticing super stickers, or if my viewers use them, YouTube will have forced me into a COPA violation, as stickers and emoji are listed in the criteria as made for kids. Why are you creating more problems? Has YouTube lost it? Really? Are you all just giving up and running with the same projects you had planned, regardless of how it affects all of us? Please stop with updating. Fire all your current workers and hire adults that are able to work with creators for actual solutions. Thank you for adding salt to the wound. Seriously, RD. So we'll see if we have a next week Truthers News. All right, so I want to do a hats off to Tim Tedious. We have them for the second week in a row. Here is an examination of some newly released evidence photos. Highlights include photos of the VIN number Remaker used to confirm ownership of the RAV, mysterious dating papers, unexplained male blood, incriminating plat maps, torn women's jeans, maps to white law, a mundane pornography. I examined quite a few new evidence photos that were recently released by users on TTM and elsewhere. I reviewed shots from the dump of new Calumet County photos, as well as shots from the new Wisconsin State Patrol photos. This is a great list put together by Tim Tedious, where they examine all the different things. Now, I picked a couple highlights. Number 3, close-up of item A23, male blood on Teresa's RAV that didn't match Avery's profile. Below are 2 close-up photos of item A23 as well as nearby latent prints. The photographer being so close to the RAV with the flash on result in some exposure problems, so the enhanced picture is best. And they do show us, if you look on the right here, you can see the 2 different pictures. You can see on the left, Avery property doesn't appear to have blood, and then in the crime lab, the enhanced picture does show blood. Now on point 6, they go on to say the reverse side of the cargo incident group time logs. It's interesting when you look at the group time logs, you can flip them over, and this is item 8483, and you can see cell phone, purse, clothing, dirt rolled up, disturbed, license plate SWH582, camera. Now, is that what they found on Cuss Road? Look down at the bottom. It says blue jeans, white button-down shirt, stay away from Silt Pond, restage Cuss Road, watch for traps. And then it says Barbier and Koenig. Remember Irvin Koenig? He's the one that saw the RAV with the alleged holes in the passenger window. Now, the second one she shows the back of is actually Bushman's log, and he is leading Team A. Camera, cell phone, purse, clothing, unearthed rolled ground, dirt disturbed, license plate SW582, tracks vehicle 5 to 10 foot apart. 1206, siren found remain of cell phone under tire rim burned in a barrel. Interesting. You know, Tim Tedious is in this for the win. Continuing with Reddit, TikTok, Manitowoc, 2 different HALBACH'S skeletal CREMAINS found in 2005, both victims of Calumet. This was posted by N64 Controller, and it's all WBAY articles from 2005 to 2007. I've posted the link below for you. However, I caught that first one. It says Green Bay Bones identified Terry HALBACH. So I went ahead, clicked it. Here's where it took me, and it says the body found near Green Bay's Bay Beach Sunday afternoon was identified Tuesday afternoon as Terry HALBACH, 25 of Manitowoc. The Brown County Medical Examiner's Office says HALBACH was last seen around 2:30 in the morning of June 4th, 2004. It was suspected at the time that he jumped from the Leo Frigo Memorial Bridge, but an extensive search failed to find a body. An autopsy found no evidence of foul play. HALBACH was identified with dental records and personal belongings. I looked it up on the Find a Grave, and I did find that he is originally from Calumet County, and he lived in Chilton, very close. And then also I looked up his obituary, and it shows that he worked as a disc jockey in one of the radio stations was in Cleveland. If you think of Robert Herman, the sheriff of Manitowoc County, he lives in Cleveland, as well as he has Cleveland Auto Salvage and Sales. Also, I thought it was interesting that Terry Lee HALBACH, in May 19, 2005, his CREMAINS were delivered at the Whiting Funeral Home, same funeral home as Teresa HALBACH. I dug a little deeper, and I got the Gazette here from Green Bay, and this is the article I found there. In brief, Green Bay Manitowoc man's remains ID. Dental records confirm the identity of a skeleton discovered on the shore of Green Bay Sunday as that of a Manitowoc man who leapt from the deck of the Leo Frigo Memorial Bridge nearly a year ago. Interim Brown County Medical Examiner Al Klimek said the remains were of Terry HALBACH, 25, who was last heard of from early on June 4th when he called a relative from his cell phone. HALBACH told his relative that he was on the bridge, and the person on the other end of the call reported hearing what sounded like HALBACH hitting the water, Klimek said. A search of the bay and the shoreline at the time turned up no evidence. Klimek said an autopsy reveals no signs of trauma and foul play has been ruled out. The remains were discovered along the shore near Kentucky Avenue and East Shore Drive. In addition to dental records, personal belongings at the scene led investigators to match remains of HALBACH's missing persons report. I came across this information on Terry Lee Halbach. He was incarcerated, but from January 10th to 2002 to February 5th, so about 30 days there, I believe. Next, I went and looked up family tree under Ancestry. Interesting enough, it does show a family tree for Terry Halbach connected to the Pfeiffer tree. Pfeiffer is the other funeral home, the one that Carmen Boutwell's remains were turned over to. Also, I find it interesting that Ancestry.com produces 2 other family trees where Terry Halbach appears to be related to Teresa M. Halbach family tree. I don't know, you guys. Somebody dig a little deeper and tell me. We have fresh eyes on the Avery case by a YouTube newcomer, Andrew Whitehead, and he does Making 2 Murderers. Very interesting. I've watched a couple of the videos and thoroughly enjoyed them and subscribed. So if you get a chance, head over on YouTube and view his Making 2 Murderer videos. In this case, we look at photos quite often and ask, what are we seeing? So right here, you're looking at deer camp with the little red trailer that's mentioned in so many reports and mistaken for Stevens. And right by that little deer camp with that little red trailer is Cuss Road. Obviously high activity. You can see right here we have a question. What are we seeing? Is this someone sitting on the bumper? Is that another person sitting on the bumper? Is that a gurney being pulled out of the ambulance? What are we seeing? You can see several vehicles. You can see the yellow crime lab. You can see the State Patrol sighting camera, laser camera there. You can see the Calumet County ambulance with several folks there. You can see this woman that's in the dark outfit with a white collar and short hair, with a very tall man that's bald behind her. And then, as we scroll over and you follow the yellow tape, you can just see a person standing here. And they're looking at something, but there doesn't appear to be a tarp. Now, it might be the wrong angle to be able to see the tarp, but let's keep going here. Ambulance gets moved to the other side of the road by now. You can see that it's moved, and we can see now a blue tarp. So let's take a look at that. You can see it has shape to it. There's a curve underneath it. Let's see if we can get... Do you see there's like a darkness and then there's like a smudgy gray area? Let me see if I can get it there. It's in the center of the screen. Okay, now we've got a lot better picture of it. What am I looking at? Whatever it is, around it is a very dark, dark spot. Is this the temporary dig site, the burial site where they had talked about the soil being disturbed and so forth? We can see there's absolutely something going on. So now you can see that they've got some floodlights back here. And that area is still dark. It's very dark at night. Now this was the most revealing because it's the clearest. So let's get in there. Is that as big as I can make it? Oh, look at it. We can make it bigger. All right, you guys. Now take a look at that. What is it we're seeing? Poll for the week. Comment down below. Do you think this is Pam Sturm on Cuss Road? I posted this because it was given to me by a little bird. Now, the picture on the left shows on the bottom Cuss Road. Looking at the photos in the attached post, do you think that is Pam Sturm on Cuss Road? What if Pam Sturm was on Cuss Road? So 164 votes came in. Final results were 42.1% said maybe, but it's too blurry. 9.8% said no, I doubt it's her. And 48.2% said yep, it looks like her. So majority wins, yes, it looks like her. Who knows? But it was something to think on, right? Let's get back over to Reddit. Now this is a TikTok post by Magella. The case of item A11. Did Sherry Culhane find animal blood in the RAV4 cargo hold? While I was looking to see if the stain on the RAV4 blinker had been tested for blood and DNA, I came upon the curious case of item A11. Item A11 first appears in Trial Exhibit 311, which is one of Sherry Culhane's DNA reports. Item A11 questions stain recovered from the rear cargo area. Results. Chemical analysis of the reddish-brown question stains of items A1 through A4, A6 through A10, A11, A12, A23, and B1 through B5 indicate the presence of blood. DNA was isolated from items A1, A6, A8, A9, A12, A13A, A14, B1, 5, C, and D1. In this report, item A11 tests positive for the presence of blood, but is not listed as a sample provided human DNA. Later, the sample is discussed further in Trial Exhibit 313. Chemical analysis of the reddish-brown question stains, crusts of items A2, A3, A4, A7, A10, A11, A23, and B2 previously indicated the presence of blood. In addition, human DNA isolation was also performed on items A11, A23, AJ, AK, LMN, TSU, CR1, DD1, and DD2. No human DNA was detected from items A11, S, and U. No further analysis were performed on these items. Analyst Culhane is more specific. She admits she performed human DNA isolation on the sample, but did not find any. She makes no remarks about the quantity of material contained in the sample, so we don't know for sure it was large enough to provide DNA, but most visible blood samples do. Questions. Did Sherry find animal blood in the cargo area of the RAV4? If the blood is from a deer or some other small game, wouldn't this be important? Is anyone else aware of additional information about sample A11? As always, your Corella for sale, Magella39. Thank you, Magella39, for sharing. Also, staying with Reddit, we have poster Strawberry Fields, December 26, 2005, Stephen Scott discussing Monday night. Stephen, hey, what time did you see your mom that night? Scott, my mom, we were up there by... Stephen, that Monday night? Scott, that Monday night? Stephen, yeah. Scott, we were back up there around 6:30, 6:45, something like that. Stephen, what time did you get back? Scott, about 7:30, 7:45. I was home by 8 o'clock. Stephen, so I didn't have the fire too long then. Scott, no. Stephen, no. Stephen, by the time you're getting back, we're almost done. Scott, yep. Stephen, yeah, we're on the home stretch. Stephen, yeah, I don't know. Scott, that ain't right. Stephen, no. Now I gotta find out who did it. Scott, yeah, that's right. Stephen, haha, yeah. Well, someone out there's got to know something. Scott, yeah, someone does. Scott and Barb arrived at the hospital around 6:30, came home around 7:30. How long is the drive to the hospital? Does this confirm Barb didn't leave until at least 6 p.m.? Stephen claimed Barb left after his call with Jody. That took place between 5:30 and 5:45, or somewhere around there. This information confirms Steve's recollection. At trial, Scott claimed the fire was big, but on the phone agrees that Stephen was winding down with the fire. So which is it? I wanted to share on our RD channel our top comment of the week. James Regal says, I was in the Army, and in 1969 I went to Vietnam. In 1971, I was honorably discharged from the Army and went back home. For my protection, the same government I went to war for said I wasn't old enough to drink alcohol. The government's concerns about children, then as now, is a bogus concern. Americans fought for the Bill of Rights so that the future will have freedom. And to ban freedom in the name of children makes about much sense as an innocent man sitting in prison. If the federal government cared about children, they would have gone to Wisconsin and ordered the release of Brendan, for this child's rights were trampled on by the state of Wisconsin. MTSO officer badge number list now available. Special thank you to AC Rookie 1082. So you can see it here. I'll go ahead and blow it up for you. There you go. It's all enlarged. Grab your screenshot, because this is actually the officers, the law enforcement, the inspectors, deputies, you name it. This is their actual badge number list. So when you're listening to these calls, you can listen to the dispatch and know who's talking. Thank you again. Well, I hit a little public awareness goal, and I wanted to highlight that for you guys because I feel public awareness is the key to keeping Brendan and Stephen safe. So on Twitter, I've hit over 50,000 retweet reaches, and that's thanks to you guys for sharing everything that I'm showing. You know, all of you guys are working so hard. And I want to say a great big thank you to each of you for doing any little thing you do or all the hard work you do. It all matters. And thank you to those 3 this week that have honorable mentions. And that's Winona Dempsey, 40K in 3 weeks, and 2K Kaz. Thank you guys for really reaching out there for me. Appreciate it. Great job on public awareness. And with that, you guys, it's that time. Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you have any new news, email it to MaMnews to rubberducky2005@yahoo.com. Thank you all that contribute to sharing the news. You know, keeping Stephen and Brendan in the light and in front of the world is so important. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button and subscribe. Hit that bell for a reminder to let you know when TWMN uploads again. Thank you. Have a great night.